There's a whole lot cooking in Texas. It's not just the heat, but it can be. Some of it's a dry heat, depends where you are. They've got solar, they've got wind, they've got one of the largest EV factories in the world, and it's only getting bigger from there. It is the testbed for where FSD is rolling out first to first a internal group and then of course the public very soon after. It may have already happened by the time this comes out. Well, if we're going to talk Texas, we should really talk to someone who is on the ground and knows the lay of the land. It's Brian Rashetsky, who lives near Austin and has done a whole bunch of coverage there and is a whole lot of fun to chat with. We'll have a conversation. We're Brian's. Welcome to Futuraza. I've never gotten to say that before. That's new.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. So, when you were growing up, Texas probably had a reputation as a big oil state. And then, I don't think it had a reputation as a natural gas state, though there's plenty of natural gas extraction in Texas. You've been a photographer for many, many years. You've photographed in very dramatic fashion all of these things: the oil, the factory, the Tesla factory there in Austin, some of the wind and solar installations. Tell us about the transition Texas has gone through.
Yeah, definitely. First off, I grew up in right outside of Corpus Christi, Texas. Most consider that in the Houston area, the pretty much the oil capital of America. And um, when I was young, most of my family members all either worked for or worked around these oil refineries or some type of a fossil fuel industry. My dad actually worked for the piping industry, and they would basically sell different pipings to in and around the oil refineries. But today, when you go back to the same area, you will see that they are expanding with wind turbines right across, the bay from the oil refineries. You see the wind turbines continue to be expanded out west, where they have the fracking and everything out, fracking and natural gas out west Texas. So definitely over the years, every time I'd go back to visit my family, I'd go back home. I now live up near Austin, and when I would travel back to go visit my family, you just see more and more of it: more solar, more wind. And near my mom's house, they just got a new expansion of solar panels there. So I think the oil industry themselves are actually using and creating a lot of these renewable energies. I think that helps them offset their costs of refining in a lot of these oil refineries. So yeah, over the years, it's definitely changed quite a bit. But the one thing that never changes is when you drive through these areas, or you're the unfortunate one who has to live and grow up next to these areas, the smell and the pollution and what you just know is not good for you will never change. And that's always been the driver for me behind this. But, I've always tried to take a clear approach, because we know that these jobs in the energy sector is what keeps us and our society going. So
For a long time, the only way to keep the lights on was to accept these kinds of compromise. The only way to power a vehicle, what are you going to do? Go back to steam? That wouldn't have worked. Battery technology was insufficiently mature. Electric cars existed before internal combustion cars, but the battery technology just wasn't there. And we saw efforts to revive it throughout the 20th century that were unsuccessful. And again, it was limits of the material science behind batteries at the time just made it prohibitive. So, what you've got is an opportunity to clean up the air. Have you noticed cleaner air than when you were younger?
that's hard to say. I don't think really we're seeing any reduction of
Mm.
fossil fuel extraction yet. Mainly because once the large infrastructures are built, they're going to be there. We're not yet really, I feel, to the point to where we're turning off energy. We still need more energy.
Mm.
But from what I heard recently, the expansion of AI right now in West Texas, there is the largest AI development, I think, in the country. What do you know what it's called? Do you remember what it's called?
No.
I think it's called Stargate.
Mm.
It's called the Stargate Project. and it's out in West Texas. And I believe they're doing it out there because they have so much abundant wind energy, the fracking, and they have maybe the area as well to do it. It's a pretty barren, flat area. But from what I've heard, is as we get to a point of needing so much energy directed into a centralized location like these giant AI and data centers, that fossil fuels just will not be able to do that. They're not able to push enough megawatts, maybe even gigawatts into the grid fast enough. And because of
Mhm.
that, Tony Seba with Stellar Energy has written the book on it recently. Because of that, we're going to have to build out the infrastructure so much, mainly with battery storage technology, as a storage device for the technology in order to push that much energy through. So I think that we will hit that revolution soon where we will overbuild the infrastructure with renewable energies and battery storage. And once we have that available storage, then we can start looking at taking some of these things offline.
Mhm.
So, I still think that's very far into the future, or at least still in the future to where we start taking fossil fuel peaker plants and things like that offline. I think maybe it's happening very slowly right now, but I think once we start doing this, it's going to happen extremely fast.
A lot of people outside the US forget how large of a surface area the US covers. For perspective, Texas is sufficiently large that Germany would fit inside of it twice. That's that's a pretty big state, and it does have its own grid almost entirely. There are a few small interconnects that go beyond it, but that means that as power scales, what you haven't had, if you're uh, if the existing fossil fuel plants haven't been closed down, what you have enjoyed is the air not getting dirtier, despite massive increases in power demands, both for automotive, transportation, shipping, and for for the grid itself. So all of that helps. You see, if you were to drive from Austin to, say, Brownsville, as many Tesla fans and SpaceX fans have done, could you count how many wind turbines you see on that drive?
Mm,
It
no, no.
no.
I mean, you could
Hundreds?
try.
I mean, it's a lot. You
Yeah.
could ballpark it, but it is endless, and especially at night when you can see the
Hmm.
aviation warning flasher lights on top, it goes on and on. And unlike pipelines, you don't have a rupture of solar energy that spills out onto the highway, at least not that I've seen. So that's also helpful. In Texas, you've got some big industries that have moved there. I mean, Tesla's one very clear example, but we're seeing tech companies move there as well. How is Austin developing as I guess, tech hub of of the not Silicon Valley?
Austin, Austin. When I first moved to Austin, right, a little over 20 years ago, I mean, it was the capital of Texas, yet not the largest city. It still isn't the largest city, but when you're here, when you're in Austin, it definitely feels like the most advanced city in Texas, right?
Mhm.
It's the most, I don't know how to explain it. Definitely the skyscrapers and the skyline, the real estate has become just, overwhelming. Uh, so yeah, Austin is embracing it. Austin is a bluish city in a red state, and it has always been a counterculture, progressive, but now Austin to me is just the perfect place for the technology rollout when you see that the overregulation and things with California, if that's what's slowing people down, it seems like a very easy next step. Move over to Austin. We have great weather. Uh, it's just become the place that everybody wants to be. And I always said it's going to happen eventually. So
And by the way, we're going to have a whole bunch of more conversation here, but I did want to say Rashetsky over on the old X, he is there at
Yeah.
Rashetsky P, follows you, and I am following because that's what we do. Uh, this is, there is a lot of people also have in their head that Texas looks like West Texas because in movies, I think that's a very common portrayal. If they were to film something in Austin, they could say it's anywhere, depending on the time of year. It has hills, it has trees, it
Yeah, I
has
was about to say it's beautiful.
rivers and
It
lakes.
looks similar to LA in some cases because it has the hills, maybe even a little greener most of the year, and so
Yeah.
it's a beautiful city. It really is. The skyline, I mean, that's where most of my income came from. I don't know if you can see behind me. I don't know if I have any Austin skylines to show you quick, but yeah, the skyline with the lake in front of it. It's surrounded by green trees, hills. It's a beautiful place, and you can see why someone would want to move here. An employee, someone that might transfer jobs. It's an easy pick. Yeah, and it's not cowboy and Indians, and it's not like New York City slickers either. And I think again that leads to uh, a society of people that are around each other with diverse ideas, diverse thoughts, and the ability to not maybe be boxed in to any specific direction that that company or that person might want to go. It's just a pretty great all around city that anybody could, I feel, could think that they could make it here or think that this would be a great place to raise a family or to live for a long time.
We've talked about the culture, the local amazing culture scene in Austin before. We won't go into it again, but I mean, there's South by Southwest. There's the Fringe Fest. What was the other one? No.
So ACL.
Oh yeah, City Limits is there.
Hmm.
It is. There is so many Fringe Fests in Scotland. Don't quote me on that one. But hey, no, there are there in terms of what there is to do.
Oh yeah,
If you can't find something to do in Austin,
yeah.
I
Food
do not know
festivals,
what to tell you.
barbecue
The
festivals,
gas
salsa
stations have
festivals.
amazing barbecue, like better barbecue than I've found on the coast, with very few exceptions. So, but you've seen all this happening. You've watched the car factory go up. You've seen the lithium refinery going in Corpus Christi, your old hometown. You've seen the Starbase, for that matter. All of these big things are coming to Austin, and now it gets to pilot FSD. How exciting is that?
Yeah.
Does anyone on the street know or care?
Um. Well, people directly around me, they don't want to hear it from me anymore.
Yeah.
Talk about it too
Mhm,
much. People on the street, no idea. People on
mhm.
the street, no idea. People in cars next to me while I'm on FSD, not paying attention, I'm looking at them, right? I'm looking, are they on their phone or what are they doing, And sometimes I'll roll the window down, give them a two peace signs out the window. If it's a couple Teslas next to me, I'll look over and, no one even notices. No
Mhm.
one, they're driving, they're doing their own thing. I'm always surprised and happy if someone looks over and gives me a smile or something or thinks it's fun. Um, but yeah, I think the common person just they don't think about this. And
Right.
maybe if you're a car enthusiast or investor, but most people on the street know. But I think when they figure out that they can do a service that they wanted and didn't know existed, they're going to be open to that conversation. And then when they find out that that service is actually cheaper than all the other services that they could compare it to, they're it's just going to keep that get their brain going. I think
Well,
this is
yeah.
an easy thing to talk about once it's live.
Yeah. What I tell people is if it is the same price as Uber and just as convenient, it'll already erode Uber's market share massively because with Uber, I'm always worried about how much I have to tip to get my 5 stars. And the vast majority of drivers don't even rate you.
Yeah,
So I'm at like 4.79 and I cannot get it to budge because no matter how many rides I take, no matter how much I tip, nobody's rating anymore. Okay,
yeah,
fine. But the other thing is, if it starts getting lower, which it should, yeah, it's going to be game over. Uh, and I'll tell you, my experience on FSD recently is I get people who will road rage thinking that they're road raging against a human. My friend, my car doesn't have the kind of emotions you do. If you wish to tailgate, my car will get out of your way as soon as it is reasonable and safe to do so, but it's not going to go 90 because you're in a hurry. And conversely, I had a guy on a motorcycle cut me off and brake check me. And I thought, wow, you have amazing confidence in the autonomous performance of these vehicles because you're putting your life in the hands of a robot. I'm just along for the ride. I'll intervene if I must, but I'm going to ride this out. I'm going to see where it goes. And yeah, he, I don't know, decided to get out of my way and go somewhere else. So that was kind of fun. In Austin, um, is there buzz about Tesla generally? They've been there long enough. They've been there years. They've had many thousands of employees, either working on the construction or working in the factory itself. The number of vehicles on the road has ballooned since they've arrived. Uh, what is the general consensus of regular folks out and about?
I really feel that regular folks, they just, it's like it's been too long. They've heard these things for just too long, and it's just past it for them. I'm sorry to be slightly negative on how maybe regular people feel, but I think that they don't, I don't want to say they don't care, but maybe it's just the news cycle has
Mm,
repeated this so much and maybe has been so negative about it, or just that the news doesn't talk about it in the right. I don't know. I don't think regular people see it or think about it in that way. Tesla is still a car company.
mhm.
It's a car you buy
But it's
that's
not a
too
company they
expensive for
dislike.
me
Oh,
to buy.
oh, really?
That's what I
Okay.
think people think. They think that's a luxury vehicle. It's not for me. It's too
Hmm,
expensive for me.
hmm.
And that's more people that that's maybe a logistics of like my coworkers and people that I know that are still driving. They're shopping for a used vehicle. They're shopping
Right.
for a cash vehicle. Now, when
Hmm,
you get up into other people that are, let's say, maybe my age or older, right? And I see them differently. I see them as not as much my peer, but maybe like maybe family members, other people that are maybe older than me. Maybe they're already a little bit more successful than me, and they can buy whatever brand new car they want. They, I think, maybe know a little bit more about the details, and they kind of know that it has these things. But most people I talk to, I don't think trusts an autonomous vehicle or a robot driving the car.
I
They
think
still
that's
want,
fair. I
yeah,
think
they
that's
they
fair
still want to drive
everywhere.
the car themselves. But
Yeah.
I believe that's an impression of how they've been talked to or how the conversation has always gone for them. They don't have experience behind the wheel of the Tesla, which is why I feel there's such a difference between even people that have bought an EV and that they know that an EV is even safer than a gas car. They know all the benefits of why an EV can have better, safety features, advanced driver assist features. An electric car is just going to maybe do that better because it has the ability to regulate the calculations of a computer and the electric motor better than a gas car. But
So
I don't know.
I Yeah, I think in terms of autonomy, it's going to be seeing is believing, just like
Mhm.
it was driving the car itself. You can hear about it all day. I know people who absolutely despised the Cybertruck for its looks, or maybe the politics, or whatever the reason might have been. And when I did an overnight test drive, I went and took it to some people I know and said, yeah, it's ugly. Hop in. And they said absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was a persuasive experience.
Mhm.
And this was just a dual motor. It wasn't even a beast. But it's fun because when you get someone who's come from a gas car, you can be in the slowest Tesla ever made, and they're still very impressed with how peppy it is because, of course, it is.
Yeah.
And this is something people will have to get past. What I'm hearing overall is that it is not a despised brand. It is a car. It is one that people are buying, and yeah, until they do get the butts and seats, they can't know what they're missing. I think that's just part of the human condition.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
naturally skeptical.
For one example, today I mentioned, and this is why when you present it in this way, it changed the narrative. I have a coworker whose his car is on the last leg, and it's been on the last leg for a while, and he's the main photographer at my new job that I've had for only maybe about a year that I got onto. He's been there for maybe 3 or 4 years, and so his car's on the last leg, right? He knows I have the Tesla. He knows I'm my full self driving. He's the one that's like, we don't need to talk about it anymore. I've heard enough from you, Brian. But today I said, hey, I know your car's on the last leg. You might be looking for a new car, right? Well, Tesla just said if you put a video out of why you think owning a Tesla would give you freedom and why, there's a video contest right now that you can do. And man, his eyes perked up. And I'm like, it would actually be a great video because you don't have freedom to go anywhere. You won't take your car out of town. You don't even
Mhm.
want to go back home to visit your parents because your gas car could break down on you at any moment in time. His parents are in Houston, only an hour or two away, but he doesn't want to take his car out of town. So I'm like, this is the perfect thing. I should help him film it. Maybe we can split the Model Y if he wins. But I thought it would be great. He could put in clips of his gas car and then show why a Tesla would give him the freedom to go anywhere in the country, take him anywhere. So,
So I have seen people who said I won't buy one because Tesla got rid of the blinker stock and the shifter. And the blinker, if you're using FSD, I don't know why you're using a blinker. It's still there. You can still use it if you wish to drive manually. Driving manually, my opinion, for the birds. And birds are not good drivers, so don't do that. But for the shifter, I finally realized, wait a minute, doesn't it have automatic shifting? Let me go into my menus and turn it on. So today at the store, we got in the car. I finally figured out I turned it on and I put my foot on the brake and it said, take your foot off the brake if you want to be in reverse. And I'm in reverse. And I pull out of the spot. Let's see what it does. And it can tell I'm out of the spot. I put my foot on the brake. It shifts into drive automatically.
well, that's cool.
And I'm
I
like,
don't think
and
mine
I'm
has
like,
that.
I don't know if it does.
2018, the older one.
If you still have the stock, I don't know if it has that. It might. You can check.
Yeah.
I had to go through all the menus to find it. I don't remember where it
Okay.
was.
Yeah.
In the comments, someone can tell me, but it works. It just
Yeah.
works. So we're getting there, guys. And the big thing is, my 2023 there was a lot of things about it I didn't care for when I got it. They're fixed, and I didn't bring it anywhere to get them fixed. The high beams now will cut a narrow sliver out for oncoming traffic so that no one ever flashes their high beams at me because no one's blinded. Um, and even the low beams would get people flashing you. And it didn't have cross traffic alert. Now it does when you're backing up. So it's got great features. A lot to love. Guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Have you met Brian Rashetsky? Because if there's an event in Austin, he's going to be somewhere nearby. He'll go to the before party, the after party. He'll hang out. He's gotten to meet a lot of the community, which is really unusual. A lot of the creators don't get to the places where the events happen. He's already there. He's close enough. He can pop in and say hello. Everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you do, and stay tuned, stay juicy. I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots in Austin, perhaps.
See you next time.